This is number 3 today. Losing track. Welcome to Battle Royale to the singles and Group B. Now, Group B is the singer-songwriters. So we've got 4 good contenders today. The way we work this is in the groups, if the single that came out first goes first. And in this case, we have got Imagine by John Lennon, put in by David Hunt. Well, John Lennon, we don't have to say too much about, except I share my birthday with him. He was born on 9th of October 1940, but I was born in 1966, and sadly he got killed on the 8th of December 1980. Very well popular man, wasn't he? He wrote lots of hits. When the Beatles split up, he went solo, and in 1971 he put out an album called Imagine, and on that album was the song Imagine. Now, playing on here, you've got John Lennon on the vocals and piano, Klaus Voormann on the bass, on the drums, the one and only from Yes, the late Mr. Alan White, and on the strings we have the Flux Fiddlers. What can we say about this song that everybody knows? I mean, it is a beautiful song, isn't it? From that opening piano from John, it just gets you there. The lyrics on this are just fantastic, aren't they? Lovely words, very recognisable from them first notes. And what I do like about this is people forget about Alan White's drumming. It's not his usual sort of proggy sound that he did with Yes. This is just a very, very slow tempo. It's wonderfully how he plays it, and just before he died, Yes actually played this, and Alan was, to what I've seen a clip of it, and watch Alan play this. It's graceful. It's just something about it. When the strings come in, they're wonderful how the strings sort of just lift it to another level. Luckily enough, when it came out, it didn't get to number 1, but obviously when John got killed, it got to number 1. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's just one of those songs. The video to it's really nice as well. And I'll tell you a little story. I'm sure I've told you this before, but it's the only song that's ever made me cry at the cinema, because it's at the end of The Killing Fields, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house. So that is a fantastic song to get us kicked off today. John Lennon's Imagine. Okay, our next contender came out in 1978, and it's from Richard McCook, and it's Kate Bush, CBE, born in 1958, singer, songwriter, musician, obviously discovered by Mr. David Gilmour of Pink Floyd, who helped to produce a demo tape and the debut album, The Kicking Side, which this song is from, and it's the wonderful Wuthering Heights, released on the 20th of January 1978. Now, playing on here on the lead vocals and piano, we do have Kate Bush, Andrew Powell arrangements, bass, guitar and Celestra, Duncan Mackay on Hammond organ, David Payton on 12-string acoustic guitar. So Davey Payton has played with Fish and others. Guitar, electric and acoustics, Ian Barnson. The drums are Stuart Elliott. Maurice Pert, the great percussionist on the Crotels, and the orchestra contractor was David Katz. Now, I remember this the first time I heard it. that, I don't know why, that wonderful vocal from Kate, that really eerie piano as well, that sort of high note that Kate hit. The other thing I like about this is a lovely actions to it. Obviously, Wuthering Heights is based on the Bronte book. It's me, it's Kathy, Heathcliff, and all that. I just think it's got one of the greatest guitar solos from Ian Barnes, and probably the best one he ever done. It is absolutely amazing. There's so many good things about this song that we can talk about, but we'll be here for ages. It's just, it was a huge hit for her. The bass line as well is it sort of drives it along, and then you've got little bits of the strings and the Hammond organ and that lovely acoustic guitar that you hear. Everything came together on this, and it is a dynamite vocal from Kate Bush. Other people have tried to sing this, but trust me, they can't. I've heard people really try to sing like Kate, and they just can't. There's only one person that can sing this song, and that is Kate Bush. So there is our second contender. Our third contender was released in 1979, and it's from Nick, from Nick's Vinyl Buddy. And as we don't know, he loves Gary Newman and he loves cars. He's got so many copies of this. So Gary Anthony James Webb, we know him as Gary Newman, of course. He was part of Tube by Army, and then they broke it up, but the band stayed, and Gary released his solo debut album, The Pleasure Principle, in 1979, which this song, Cars, came off. A #1 hit, as we know. Released on the 24th of August 1979. So Gary Newman is on vocals, production, keyboards, mini-moog, polymoog and synthetic percussion. Paul Gardner on bass. Chris Payne on the keyboards. Cedric Sharpley on drums and tambourine. Now, I think this is probably one of the best things Gary Newman ever put up as a single. It's got that start, that and that real long, windy synth, spacey. It was a new sound. We got it on, of course, our friends of Electric, but he took it to another level on this. Is that real deadpan sort of vocal from Gary as well. It's got a great little beat to it. The drumming on this is fantastic. There's a lot, even when you hear a live version, that drum is really prominent. I just like how the synthesizers just swirl all the time on this. The actual solo is just fantastic. It's just like a harmony of synthesizers, and it's an absolute iconic track. Even that bit of tambourine you can hear. It took the world by storm, this song did. It was just something different, and a lot of bands caught on to this. It's just one of those iconic songs of the late 70s. And so that's another fine entry in there. So our next entry is from our youngest competitor. It's the Rock Beast. We're going to say how he's probably my youngest follower as well, and he loves he may be a young chap, but he loves a lot of the music I love and we all love, and he's put in the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. Absolutely brilliant. Of course, Phil Collins, part of Genesis, had a very successful debut single, didn't he, from his debut solo album, Face Value and In the Air Tonight. Now, In the Air Tonight was released in January 1981. And playing on here is, of course, Phil Collins, who does vocals, drums, synthesizers and piano. Guitar by the one and only Mr. Daryl Sturmer. On the bass, John Giblin, another fine musician, and on the violin, L. Shankar, and he won't be the first time he gets a mention in this competition. So, In the Air Tonight. Phil had been sort of experimenting with this sound on a track called Mama that he did with Genesis. Very similar sort of genre sounds. Now, he took it to another level. So, and it does help with them great little strums of the guitar from Daryl. And the eeriness of that keyboard. And the little bit of effect that Phil had on his voice. I just love that riff that it kept coming through the whole track from Daryl. That wow, and that woo, it's really good. John Giblin's bass line is sublime. It just adds that bit to it, and then that little bit of violin from L. Shankar is just really cool. But it's always going to be remembered for one thing, isn't it? This song. Probably the greatest drum fill on any song. That boom, 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 boom. Yep. They started it on Mama, but Phil just took it to a new level on In the Air Tonight. It's just one of the greatest drums. I mean, it's been used in adverts. We've had Gorillaz playing it. Everybody tries to emulate it. There's only one person that nearly got it right, and that's his son. But then again, he's had a good teacher. And once again, this song is such an iconic song from the 80s. And I still believe this is the best thing that Phil Collins ever did as a solo artist. So there we go. We have got 4 super singles. I'll just run through them with you again. We've got Imagine, John Lennon from David Hunt. We have got Wuthering Heights, Kate Bush from Richard McCook. Cars, Gary Newman from Nick Varnell-Butty. And from the Rock Beasts, we have got In the Air Tonight, Phil Collins. So how do you vote for these great songs? Well, at 2 p.m, when this all goes live, it all goes live at the same time. This video goes out at 2 o'clock. The poll goes up at 2 o'clock. The link will be in the description, and there is a link via the community page for you to go and vote. Now the voting, as I said, opens at 2 p.m. today, and it remains open till next Wednesday at 23:59, and then the winner will be announced next Thursday. So good luck to David, Richard, Nick and the Rock Beast. I'm not going to tell his real name, but I do know it because I do talk to him quite a lot. He's a really nice lad. So good luck, guys. Be interesting to see how this goes. Okay, coming up next, and the last thing today before live stream tonight, is we're going to have what they call a little bit of a wander down the sidewalk. We're going to look at the top 10 on this day in America in the year of 1973. So lots of top 10s today. So I'll see you for that. Bye for now.